Hi, I'm Brandon. I love the Star Wars franchise.
Are we doing this?
I'm not. I like Star Wars just fine. No, it's cool.
Hey, I'm Dan. I'm here for a bit, and I love the Star Wars franchise as well. This is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's Brandon,
Vroom,
Stan,
vroom.
it's Ryan. Vroom, vroom to you.
You said vroom, vroom. It's not
Vroom,
vroom, vroom.
vroom.
It's Force Fridays.
Vroom.
Vroom,
Do you know
vroom.
what I think we should do? This idea just flew into my funnel. You ready for this? As soon as the last Star Wars movie has been reviewed by us, we rank all the Fast and Star Wars movies together in one list.
Ooh.
And we
That's
have a
its own
ranking.
episode, though.
We have a yeah, of course it is. We have a ranking episode where we reveal we all rank them. We do an aggregate and we reveal the list, or we just all.
And then we throw Mission Impossible in there at some point, too.
Of course, yeah. We have to
Yeah.
add. That's my point. Is when we
Yeah.
finish, we have to add every time.
That's right.
I like it.
That's right.
It's great to be here today talking Rogue One.
You're just not even gonna. Do you like the idea or not?
I don't know
or
how
do you?
hopeful I'll be.
What do you mean?
I
You've
don't-
seen all the
You've
movies.
seen
but
all
I
the
don't-
films.
I don't remember my rankings.
Well, we have audio history.
all
of it.
recorded.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all.
couldn't
yeah.
do
we
that,
just go
though.
back and listen to Fast X,
Right, but
and you
I
got
don't
the ranking.
remember enough about Fast and my rankings to then fairly rank them with the Star Wars
Do
movie,
you
which I
have
also don't.
short-term memory loss? It's not like you watched him a decade ago. That was last year.
Dan, you know me.
Come on, though. You know a movie from last year.
I couldn't begin to tell you my ranking of the Fast movies.
I think you could do it.
You
Dan,
can do it.
I could not begin to tell
5
you.
is number 1.
You
If
have
you
5
say
number
so.
1.
5's number 1.
I'm
I bet
always
you have 7 or 8 number 2.
You
I'm
really
always,
liked 8 a lot. I think you had 8 number 2.
You're also a big X guy.
I'm a
Fast
big
X.
X guy. I went
I'm-
5 than
yeah,
X.
exactly.
I am always so amazed at your ability to recall
Well, thank you.
information that I just can't.
Real talent.
With some jogging, you would remember the movies enough to be like, I think I
Or
like
maybe
this
some
more than
pedaling. Yeah, jogging or pedaling.
I don't think I could do
All
it.
right.
I wouldn't want to mess it up. You and Ryan can do it.
I
You
still
guys
love
are
it.
really good at remembering stuff.
I still love it as an episode.
Obliged.
You know.
Yeah.
For those of you that want the definitive Fast and Star Wars ranking, please let us know in the chat in the comments.
Just let us know.
Email us.
Just let us
Bran
know.
at deckthehallmark.com.
Oh. But I said I shouldn't do it.
I know. That's why I wanted you to get the emails.
You can email me.
Yeah. Go for it.
Rogue One. It's
Home.
it's not a part of the
It's a Star Wars
system.
story.
It's a Star Wars story.
Yeah, this was a big deal when it came out because
Yeah.
people were wondering if it's not a part of this quote unquote. I don't want to say canon because it is a part of canon, but it's not a part of this series of
saga.
movies that follow the Jedi.
It's not
and
an episode. It's
there's
a story.
no Skywalkers.
No.
I guess there is Leia. Technically, is in there a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's its own thing, though.
Darth Vader.
It doesn't
is in
start. It doesn't start with a scroll.
No.
There's not a scroll to start. So people were fascinated by how this was going to. There's no John Williams score. John Williams does not score this movie. Only first Star Wars movie not to score. So a lot like big risk by the Disney.
Big
and
risk.
Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah.
I feel like they felt pretty good about making their money back, though.
Yeah. It's got Star Wars on it.
It's got Star Wars on
It's
it.
got the font.
Good.
You
Sure, it's
get
going
it.
to do well. Ryan, did you see this in the theaters when it came out?
Saw it in theaters, I believe, opening weekend. I
Oh,
believe.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Opening night for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't listen. We're big fans. We're fanboys. We're Star Wars
Fanboys.
fanboys. That's
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's who we
this.
are.
Yeah.
that's why we're doing this. We're mega fans.
Mega fans.
Let's talk about it. Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Originally premiered out in L.A. December 10th.
You say that you hate LA and everyone that lives there.
I don't hate
Out
everybody.
in LA.
I don't hate everybody that lives there because I love my friend Alonzo
Wow. And Dave White,
and Dave White, of course,
obviously.
and then the other folks that we know
Andrew
from
Walker
Hallmark.
lives out there.
Yep.
Chris
Well,
Palaha lives
yes.
out there.
There's lots to like.
We like a lot
There's
about LA.
lots to like.
As Randy Newman said, I love LA.
No, that's what Randy Newman said.
That's right.
And then everyone else in the world, us little guys out here.
Oh my gosh.
December
Just read the
16th.
synopsis.
Sorry, December 16th, 2016, a little something like this. We meet a little girl named Jen. Her family is in hiding. One day, this big bad guy, Orson, shows up and tells Jen's dad, Galen, that they need him to come back and finish the Death Star. Galen's like, I wouldn't be any use to this. I've been a bit of a sad sack ever since my wife died. Suddenly, his wife comes running through the field, and that's bad timing, honestly.
Bad timing, really is.
She has a gun, and she's like, you'll never take him. And Orson's like, I'm taking you all. She shoots him. They shoot her. She dies, for real this time. And Orson tells them to go and find the child. But Jen, one thing you need to know about her, really good at hide and seek. She waits in her hiding spot until a dude named Saw shows up, and we see what Saw saw, which is her.
We see what Saw saw.
It is clear that they know each other. Fast forward in time, Jen is now an adult and is in a holding cell. Meanwhile, a cargo pilot named Bodhi shows up and claims to Saw that he wants to join the rebels. Saw's a bit older here and is a little bit more grumpy, if you will, and has a hard time with Bodhi and believing him. Jen is being transferred with other prisoners when rebel forces suddenly break in and free them, led by Cassian Andor. That's the name of a TV show.
Oh, it
Andor.
sure is.
Together, they fight stormtroopers and escape. They take a reprogrammed droid named K2SO and head somewhere else where they encounter more stormtroopers who are gathering crystals to power the Death Star. They're about to get captured when a blind spiritual warrior, and I'm not going to try his name because it scares me, and his mercenary friend whose name is Blaze. I'll attempt
You can
Blaze.
do Blaze.
I'm going
Yeah.
to try Blaze. Help him out. And they allow Jin to make contact with Saw, who is holding Bodhi. She sees a message in which Galen reveals that he's secretly built a vulnerability in the Death Star. That answers your question.
Sure does.
The schematics are stored in an Imperial data vault.
Classic vault situation.
That's exactly
It's
right.
in the vault.
You mentioned the Death Star. Let's go to it, shall we? Orson orders a test strike on the moon where the gang is. Jen and her group take Bodhi and they flee, but Saw stays behind because she's kind of ready to end it. So I'm not going to try to leave. Orson gets an attaboy from the higher-ups. Great job, Orson.
Attaboy. Right, Orson.
Bodhi leads the group to Galen's Imperial Research Facility, and rebel bombers attack the site. Galen is wounded and dies in Jen's arms before she escapes with the group on a stolen Imperial ship. Orson is told to come here by Darth Vader. Darth Vader? He's back.
Lord Vader.
He's back, baby. And is like, hey, explain yourself. Tell me about this attack. And Orson's like, well, now that you've seen my work, maybe you can introduce me to the Emperor. And Vader then force chokes him and says, get back to work and don't cause any more trouble, mister. That's what Vader's words, not mine.
Yeah. He shakes his finger.
Yeah,
Don't cause any more trouble, mister.
Jin proposes a mission to steal the Death Star schematics, but the Alliance Council says there's no chance that you can succeed in doing this. She's frustrated by their lack of willing to do this, and so Jin's group leads a small squad of volunteers. Bodhi says, we're Rogue One. That's the name of the movie. Jin, Cassian, K2SO, they head on in. They infiltrate the Imperial base while the others create a diversion with a little bit of a space battle. The Alliance eventually joins in on the fight, sending their own fleet. Jin gets the schematics, but is ambushed by Orson, who is like, there's nothing you can do here. There's a shield and stuff. You're not going to be able to get this information up there. But then Cassian comes and he shoots Orson. Jin then is able to transmit the schematics to the Rebel command ship just before the Death Star fires a beam that destroys the base and them. The rebel fleet tries to escape, but many ships are intercepted by Darth Vader. Darth Vader gets on board of one of the ships and is just throwing people around in an attempt to recover the plans, but a smaller ship escapes with those plans and heads and gives it to Princess Leia, who declares that the schematics are going to provide hope for the rebellion. Some might even call it a new hope.
New
and
one,
that,
yeah.
my friends, was Rogue
One,
One,
calling a Star Wars story. We got it. We did
Nailed
it.
it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Phew.
Let's take a break.
I
We're gonna
love
take a
that
break. We're going to
plan,
come
Brandon.
back and we're going to break this movie down here on Deck the
Hallmark.
Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good day. I hope you're having a good day. Can I tell you, from me to you, hope you're having a good day.
It's really kind of you, Brandon.
Let's
Thanks,
talk.
Brand.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's talk Rogue One, a Star Wars story, shall we? We're going to start with a hot take, where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We're not going to hold back. I'll start with you, Rye Guy. Rye Guy, what do you think, Rogue One?
So yeah, I haven't seen this since I saw it in theaters, which again I believe was opening weekend. And so some context, it's as we mentioned briefly, it was jarring to not have an opening scroll or the opening music, especially because in 2016, and this is I think the point that needs context, there isn't 1,000 Star Wars TV shows back then. This was brand new territory.
That's right.
And so jarring isn't bad though, as the opening to this film really rocks. I would say overall for me, I promise I don't mean this as a diss. I mean it as a positive. I think this film is above average in just about every category. But for whatever reason, it doesn't totally... I never felt fully invested, and I can't necessarily pinpoint why. My best guess is, one, this is the precursor to all these Disney Plus TV shows. And although I think this is, again, an above average, very solid, very enjoyable film, probably would have worked better as an 8-part series where you get to know these characters a little bit more in depth and those things of the nature. And I also don't think it helps this film that 3 of the last 4 theatrical releases before this are all prequels. And this is a prequel. And especially in 2016 and even now after we just watched Force Awakens last week, I wanted to go forward and I felt like this is interesting, but we didn't really need to know any of this to like be more enriched in the Star Wars universe. Worst kind of movie. Oh, Dan don't like it at all.
Oh
worst
my
kind of
gosh.
worst kind of movie to review for me in a way, because again, I think it's good. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, but I just think it's good, Brand.
This is brutal, especially after last week, Force Awakens being 1 overall.
Great film.
Well,
Strong
I
film.
can't. I don't think you disrespected.
I like this movie.
I don't think you disrespected Rogue One, but the combination of The Force Awakens is such a ripper. It's the best movie.
Oh, what a ripper.
Star Wars. And then this movie, we didn't need it. I don't even know what to do with that take. That's so frustrating.
Something just came into my funnel right now
Did it
here,
fly
which
into
is
your
that,
funnel?
that this movie isn't as good as Force Awakens for me. But that's
Now, this is what I'll say. I think that this movie slaps. I think that it is full of really great characters that bummed that they die. I was sad with that. I was sad that they died.
Spoiler.
Great to see our boy Darth back at it. I'll say that much. I kind of forgot about it as I was watching this, and I was like, that's Darth Vader. So I was very excited.
The Sith Lord himself.
Felt like a kid again. I was very giddy that Darth Vader was back. And listen, the bads are bad. The goods are good. And I felt great while watching this movie. I don't stand by a lot of what Ryan says.
Thank you.
I was very nice.
But
you were backhanded.
I will say this: as somebody who has a hard time like remembering things and like jumping around and whatnot. I don't know where I wish that we watched this movie, and I understand why we're watching it when we did in regard to when it was released. But the bouncing back, knowing that I'm going to ping pong all the way back to
Last
episode
Jedi.
8 next week, it's hard for my brain to handle it. and so I'm trying to do my best. But overall, the movie's a slapper. It slaps, and then it slaps some more. Really good time. But listen, Ryan didn't watch it in our theater room. Ryan didn't watch it in our theater room.
Theater room helps a lot.
The movie slaps in the theater room, Ryan.
Right,
I'll say that
guy.
much.
Where'd you have it ranked? You didn't say.
Oh yeah, no, I'll go Force Awakens, Empire, Sith, this.
Oh, okay. So
Then,
still, you
yeah.
have this ahead of Return of the Jedi. Okay.
Yeah, the best parts of Return of the Jedi for me worked better than this, but this is a better film than Return of the Jedi.
Got it. Brand?
Oh, I don't know. What was what did I say last week?
I don't remember where you put Force Awakens last week.
Where do you have this in comparison to Fast 6?
What about, yeah, exactly. That's
What
what
happened
you gotta
in
think
Fast
about.
6? I have this. I want to say what I did was Empire 3, Force Awakens.
I think you had you had
three
Phantom
first.
Menace up there high. You had Empire then Phantom Menace. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, you had 3
You have
ahead of
Revenge of the
Phantom.
Sith
I
as your
have
number
3.
one.
Yeah,
I think I have 6, 3, Force 1.
Force 1. Okay.
And then I would probably put this. I'd probably put this. I'll do Empire 3, Force this 1, and then
Carry the 2.
So 4 for you as well.
Yeah.
Guys, this movie rules. It is not good. It is amazing. It is everything that is great about going to the movies in one movie. There's a show on Disney Plus amidst myriad other Star Wars shows on Disney Plus that I don't think are worth your time unless you are a super big fan. Like, unless you just love the expanded universe and the canon and all of this very ancillary stuff, you don't need to watch Mandalorian and you don't need to watch all these other shows. Andor on Disney Plus is an amazing show that is a precursor to Rogue One. Rogue One has the weight of the world on its shoulders as a movie that doesn't need to exist, but Disney has put a lot of money behind and asking an unknown group of characters to carry a story across the finish line. This movie makes A New Hope better. It improves upon the George Lucas original Star Wars movie. This movie showcases the difference between being angry about something and living under oppression to being sparked to action. What does it take to go, I guess them's the breaks and there's nothing I can do, to getting so angry that I can't do nothing. I have to stand up and do something. Like, this movie praises the idea of not being mad at authority and oppression, but doing something about authority and oppression. It is deeper and more important than any Star Wars movie that's ever been made.
Are you talking about High School Musical?
I'm not, if you can believe
Who?
it. It too, yes. It also happens to just, as Brand said, be a slapper.
Yeah, it's a slapper.
It has great action scenes. It has what Brand called, and I'm not going to take it from him because it's going to be his feels, the best scene in any Star Wars movie is in this movie, according to Brand.
Yeah.
It has an amazing sacrificial push from all of our characters. It has a cast to rival any Star Wars movie cast. Riz Ahmed, Diego Luna, Felicity Jones, Donnie Yen, Mads Mikkelsen, Forrest Whitaker. What a cast.
Tammy Two Shoes.
Alf.
Well, Alf is great. No problem in this
Hey,
movie.
Willie, the Death Star.
The Death Star. Dr. Warner. He crushes in this movie.
Bro, can we just camp out on an idea of Alf being a part of the Star
Just
Wars
put a
cinematic
little
universe?
Empire hat on him. Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Live
I don't
for
know. The cat was. I'm sorry. I'll move
We'll do
on.
this all day.
We could do it all
He's
day.
quick. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I'll give it exactly. Yeah, we've all got one. We've all got an Alf one. This movie is how to make a Star Wars movie. It's aside from some weird facial CGI, which they had to do. This movie's perfect. And if it wasn't for the fact that Empire Strikes Back is a masterpiece of cinema and the best Star Wars movie ever without a single bad frame in it, this would be 1. This should be 1A. This is 2. Empire, then this, then in a shocking turn of events, Revenge of the Sith, then Force Awakens, then Return of the Jedi, then A New Hope, then Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. That's my order. This movie rules, guys. This movie's deeper and better. Dude, some of the space scenes, I know we're watching on our theater screen, but he's using models for this instead of CGI. It looks amazing. It is.
As someone with
a
slew of little toys, Ryan, you should have loved those.
Yeah, I can't believe this take from
I
my
got
guy.
a Star Wars ship in the mail yesterday. Probably gonna have to curtail that, by the way. But yeah, I got a Naboo Royal Starship yesterday. Yeah, no, look great.
I can't believe the take from you. I just can't.
I said nothing but nice things.
And then you ranked it 5th or 4th or whatever.
I think it was 4th. You have Phantom Menace way too low, Dan, by the way. That's ridiculous to have it near the bottom.
Wow.
Right guy.
Okay,
Jar Jar Binks, buddy. Jar Jar Binks.
Yippee.
Yeah, exactly. Yippee. Jake Lloyd. Jar Jar Binks. 85-minute pod race scene. Get out of here.
I will not stand for this Jake Paul slander.
Jake Paul? You can
That's the
slander
second
him
time
too.
you've done this.
I will be fine with your Jake Paul slander.
They both have the same amount of acting ability.
It's time for all the fields. We were talking about what this week is. Fields. Ryan.
Brent, I'll be curious if this is yours, but, in terms of what you think may be the best scene in the history of Star Wars. I don't know if this is the best scene in the history of Star Wars, but I will say I enjoyed this film in theaters. I enjoyed it on this rewatch. Maybe the most electrifying and, in terms of action, well-earned scene, at least most anticipated. Earned wouldn't be the right word. Darth Vader scorching Earth at the end is, like, it's crazy to think about. But we had never seen Darth Vader do this.
Nope.
We had heard about Darth Vader doing this. We've seen him have lightsaber duels where he's always like evenly matched, at least for a good portion of them. Even old Ben, rolls out of the bed in New Hope and takes him to the brink. Darth Vader's scorching Earth is awesome and in the theater, or possibly even the theater room.
It
was electric.
It was electric. It was electric, and it was amazing.
You are right. You are right, Ryan. It is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars. Like the build up to it as they're staring at this dark hallway as if it's like The Conjuring or something, and then Darth
Black
Vader
smoke.
putting do you say turning on the lightsaber?
Yeah.
Turning on the lightsaber, glowing, and then just going ham was awesome. It is, and it's only like 30 seconds. It's
a little
incredible.
longer, but it's short.
It's incredible. Like just the cinematography of it, the tension, and then just being like it. Darth Vader's such a great bad guy because you can't help but be like, this guy's freaking awesome, and that's what makes him. That's what makes him such a great villain, because he's someone who also, weirdly enough, kind of cheer for him as he's doing this. You're like, awesome.
Yeah.
So incredible scene, and it is my favorite scene in all of Star Wars.
It's
So
an
do
amazing
with that what you will.
scene, and to pull from a movie that Ryan thinks and Brand thinks is better than this movie. If only Finn was there, maybe you got a couple licks in on Darth Vader from the finale of that movie. So let's compare finales real quick, and just
let's compare films, Dan. We're not here to compare finales.
I will take the film without this scene over Force Awakens, but you throw that finale versus this finale, Bran, go. This is the last 20 minutes of Force Awakens are utterly silly and
Deck
stupid.
the finale, Bran. Deck the finale.
This is a better movie. This is a better movie.
I might play with it.
Yeah.
I gotta think on this. Yeah.
It's a better movie. So
but I'm not going to change it.
What I love, of course not. Yeah, that would be if you change something because I said it, that'd be crazy.
Shout out to Brink, number one.
Brink,
Let's
number
go.
one.
The greatest movie of our time at any time and all of time.
Anytime and all of time.
Brink.
I said it in the hot take, but I'll say it again. Star Wars has a unfortunate tradition of finding a way to keep people alive, a lot like Marvel does. It's just part of what it is. It's like, oh, they're still alive somehow, or like Chewie was on a different transport, which we'll get to in the last one, which is a riot. This movie, there's such a finality to this movie, like that all of our lead characters know going in pretty much that this is it. They're going to sacrifice themselves because they need to provide a hope and provide a spark for a rebellion. Guys, that's awesome. Like, that's an awesome, like, picture of what it takes when the odds are stacked against you and when it seems as though there is nothing but and these are all of these people are ragtag, not included people. And that's what makes it cool. They all are people that are on the fringes, are not the classic hero. And they do more for Star Wars and its story than Luke Skywalker does. Without this group of people, Luke Skywalker doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. He doesn't get to blow up the Death Star without this group of people, without Galen Erso and his daughter, and then everybody else in the movie. He doesn't get to do it. That's awesome. This movie weighs more and it means more than the rest of Star Wars does.
You know what I just thought of? The whole question last week about why do they keep doing this, like having it there.
Yeah.
And now that we know that, Galen kind of worked this into
That's right.
the schematics of the Death Star. It explains the Death Star.
This is one of my two wait whats.
Okay.
This was one of my wait whats.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just not going to get into it. Let's wait till the wait what. What you're going to say is valid.
I literally was just thinking through it.
I had it written down since we watched it.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the wait whats, and we'll see if Dan has any left by the time we get to him. Here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back. Yippee. We're talking Star Wars, Rogue One, Star Wars story. It's time for the Wait What. It's where we talk about when this movie made us go, wait, what? And I'll start with you, Ryan.
Yeah, I only had 3. I'll save our collective one for last. Dan, Alonzo, don't get mad at me. I'm not a Star Wars expert. I had no idea that Peter Cushing had passed away in 1994. And I didn't know who Peter Cushing was, if I'm just being honest. And so I actually thought the CG was pretty good the first time I saw this, because if you don't know
the general,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, Brand, did you know?
I only knew because you talked about it.
I literally we were watching it, and when his back is turned, I said, I'm interested to see how this ages, because I remember in 2016 it looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't.
No, once you know, you definitely know. But I will say,
it still looks better than Gemini,
on a massive
man.
screen.
Yeah.
I will say on a massive screen in 2016, it wasn't the equivalent of Paul Walker. In fact, obviously you do in that scenario, right? If you didn't know, even by today's standards, if you didn't know, I still don't know if it would necessarily come to mind. So I was just surprised when I found that out in late 2016. They're having this big meeting about who betrayed the Empire, and ultimately Jin's dad admits guilt. But it's raining outside. They
can't go inside.
There's ships. They could have done this indoors. You don't want to risk anyone catching a death of a cold when you're trying to take down the rebellion.
Death Star of a cold.
So I'll just open it up for the floor. And Brand, you basically took the words out of my mouth. The explanation for why there is this default in the Death Star is perfect. It makes, to Dan's point, Star Wars better. The fact that this keeps happening is now even more absurd and asinine than it was before.
It makes Force Awakens, it makes A New Hope a much better movie. It makes Force Awakens a worse movie because they design a bigger Death Star with a similar flaw in it. It's it's tradition now.
Unless they're just really dumb.
Yeah, maybe
and
they
didn't realize that that's how
maybe
they
hired some Skywalkers.
So they just used the same schematics to make the Deuce, but bigger. And so they missed. It was oversight. It was an oversight. We forgot that Galen did that.
Yeah. It got blown up last time.
So,
we should do it the exact same way.
Way. We'll figure it out. Do you have any more, Rye?
That was it for me.
I want to shout out our blind hero in this movie,
Donnie Yen.
Incredible fight scenes, fantastic, and is somebody who is constantly saying,
"I'm one with the Force. The
Force is me," or whatever it is. When somebody, I forgot who it was, says to them, the group, "May the Force be with you," he looked like a kid in a candy shop. He was like, "Oh, I can't believe he said it!
Oh, he said
Someone
it.
said, 'May the Force be with you. And he was so authentically happy that someone said to him, "May the force be with you," that it just made me laugh. And also, it also was funny to me. I didn't think he'd say it.
I didn't think he'd say it.
And then I've never had this thought before, but as all of the ships are kind of showing up via, the light speed, however it all works out, they're all popping out like in different areas so that they don't crash, which is really kind of like
it's a tradition for 7 or 8 movies.
Different, no one ever. What if there's too many?
Nah.
What if there's too many taking the freeway
perfect
at the same time? What? At some point, someone's got to crash into somebody upon leaving, right?
So hyperspeed air traffic control.
It is amazing. Whoever is out there waving them on in, amazing work because no one ever crashes, and that's good. Dan.
So Jyn Erso's hero is her father. He puts her in basically a hideaway to keep her safe and sacrifices himself. She does get to see her father again, and then he dies in her arms. And then a minute later, Diego Luna is like, now's the time for we've all lost somebody and decided to do something about it speech. He gives her under 5 minutes before he's like, hey, could you get over this? Could you get over it, please? I know your father.
Score, I could give my speech now.
Yeah, father died in your arms. I'm going to give you a minute, literally 1 minute, and then you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and start fighting back. Little crazy there, Diego. Little crazy. Maybe give her a day or two.
Read the room a little bit.
Yeah, her dad died. And that's all I really have. I did have a fake one, which is this is the first time I've seen a ship. And the reason it's fake is Star Wars bros are coming after me, I'm sure. This is the first time I've seen a spaceship go to light speed from the ground while still on a planet like gravity does not matter at all. And I know light speed is powerful, but we have spit in the face of gravity, which exists on all these planets. And there's that. That's all I got.
It's time for War. What the Hallmarkers? Where we wonder what could have been, maybe, or Star Wars, if you will.
Star Wars, yeah. Force or Friday.
Yeah. You know the deal by now, Rye, so I'll kick it to you. Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm going Friday here.
Good choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah. This is just a hypothetical question, which is what we're supposed to do here, given the rules of the segment. It's not hypothetical. It's
very clear. Those rules are very clear.
No, I mean open and shut. Yeah. Just throwing this out to the group. Think about this. Darth Vader, when masked up in any of the films, any of the films where we've seen Darth Vader with the mask on, does he ever in any of them act like Anakin in episode 2 or 3 without the mask on? Does Anakin Skywalker ever act like Darth Vader, if that makes sense?
No, in fact, I think in the Obi-Wan series on Disney, Hayden Christensen, it's the first time Hayden Christensen actually dons the suit. He never wore the Darth Vader suit, never once. And if you watch that television program, which once again, unless you really care, it's not a must see, it's okay. You will see it very much does look like Hayden Christensen as Anakin, but typically it looks nothing or acts nothing like him. Yeah. And to be fair, he got a lot of his body chopped off by the lava. So
that could change a person.
Yeah. But can we pay a little bit of respect here? Ryan,
they don't. Yeah, but they just don't talk the same brand. They don't like
It's not a machine that's keeping him alive. It's like Bane. Do you think Bane talked like that before he had to put on the mask?
I'm not talking about his voice. I'm talking about their personality traits. I mean, in New Hope, he's like a soccer mom, Darth Vader. His hands on his hips.
Yeah, he is. He's sashaying around. He is.
So I've never seen anybody do that. But yeah. So listen. I went Friday. This is what you get when you go Friday.
You go Friday. Yeah. I do want to see a supercut of him going ham in Rogue One, sashaying through the room in New Hope, and then what ends up being his ultimate defeat in Return of the Jedi. Those are seemingly 3 different people.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Yes.
Oh, so you agree?
Yeah.
I'm going Force, and I got to be honest. Galen, knows that his, the baddies are here, and he tells his wife and his daughter, the plan, right?
Yeah.
When when he goes through this whole thing, he's like, my wife's dead, tough time for me. Can't do it. How mad do you think he was when he looks over to his right and his wife is frolicking through the field with a gun as if she can, like, what was her plan?
What was her plan?
Like that, like, we have a plan. The plan is for you and Jen, go to the hideaway spot.
That's right.
And then you guys will be good. What was she thinking when she said, I'll take matters in my own hands here, and I will come with my gun? And what was she hoping would happen there?
I don't think she had a plan. She was acting out of full emotion.
But when you begin to run through the field and you look and you see, I think 4 baddies there, all with guns.
All with guns.
You go, at some point, you got to be like, all right, maybe we should stick to the original plan.
We should stick to our guns.
We should stick to our guns. But at some point, she said, let me just give it a whirl. And then worst case scenario, my daughter has to figure it out for herself. I don't know. It just, I want to know why. Why do it? Why do it in that situation when you see it? I don't know. Dano?
Yeah, I think I'm going Friday. Dangerous as it may be. I'm going Friday. And I think the one thing about this movie that I don't particularly like is that it does seem, it is as good a job as you could do doing this, but it does seem a bit reverse engineered. Like, it does seem like almost too perfect of a prequel to be like, we just picked up in episode 4, like, Leia's got the plans. She sends the message, and we know that there's 3 movies before because it's called episode 4. Why wasn't this episode 3? This seems like it should be episode 3. No, episode 3 takes place years before this. And so that just gets my brain going on, should we have Gareth Edwards make a prequel for Empire and for Return of the Jedi? Like, you made a perfect one. Like, it's almost too good as to be a story that's never been told in the canon of Star Wars. There's some gaps in between some of these other movies.
I don't know
what would those look like.
Do you know how much, like, I believe, like, George Lucas is still getting, like, a producer credit?
Oh, he gets paid every time they do anything in Star Wars. Do you think,
like, did he run this by George and was like, hey,
I don't think
you
he
have
had
any?
to.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, I imagine George Lucas had some sort of idea of what happened in between 3 and 4. You would think so. Do you think that,
I'm sure there's been, listen, just save the email, everyone, but I'm sure there's been plenty of books written about, in the expanded universe, about this time frame. But this seems so, like, it seems like they storyboarded it to make a perfect prequel to A New Hope, and they nailed it. They 10 of 10'd it. It just is almost too good for a movie that we already have an episode 3 of. And so why not? Why not give me like an episode, like something in between 6 and 7? Because Force Awakens, there's a big gap in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. Like, throw me a movie up in there that what's going on that doesn't involve Luke, or bring Luke back about like going to hideaway, like, and training all those Jedi. Like, I want to see him do it. If he can do this good a job with what happened right before New Hope, show me what happened after Return of the Jedi and before Force Awakens. Bring me that movie.
Dan, this wasn't necessarily your point. I know we got to wrap here in a minute, but I also think that, like, to kind of fuse your 2 points together, it would have been interesting to see, like, this actually be episode 3 in the context of episode 3.
Yeah.
And, like, Padme was in this. Like, would have been such a better send-off for, like, if, like, Padme could have been part of this crew than what we actually ended up getting in episode 3. So with that said, your point's well taken, but I do think that some of the what-if scenarios of this are interesting, too.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you think we'll ever get that Jar Jar prequel?
Jar Jar prequel.
Jar Jar prequel. I mean, what's let me check FanDuel real quick.
Yeah.
See what the odds are.
Yeah, let's see if we should make that bet. We're gonna be back next week with Star Wars Episode 8. What's it called?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
It's The Last Jedi. So come on back for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.